Welcome back to Games Revealed. I'm James and also Brink, and we are one community. Today, we're going to be talking about the Steam Deck 2. And to celebrate, I have some nice grape stuff here. It's finally happened. We've got a second Steam Deck. And it's not Steam Deck 2. It's Steam Deck OLED. But you know what? It still is worth the celebration and to talk about everything. Yes, I did a live stream yesterday. But I did not know that this was going to happen today until I saw, and this is how bad I am at like actively watching for very hot news, but someone pinged it at 11 a.m. for me. And then I had like a bunch of meetings at 11 until a certain point. So like until like 1. Then I saw at 1, everyone discussing the Steam Deck OLED announcements and reviews going out, which is crazy. And it was like, okay, cool. I guess that's the thing today. It was getting so late into the season, like it's November 9th. And they're just announcing this. Like, why didn't they announce this 3 weeks ago? Why didn't they? I feel like into the season for the holidays, this is a really late announcement, but it is what it is, and it's going to be coming out on November 16th. What the plan is for today, and I will say hi to everyone here in a second. What the plan is for today is we're going to be watching some videos, some reviews, and getting some details, because I don't have hands-on access to the device. Maybe I'll get it early. Who knows? I'm going to contact Valve, but because of the last time, I just don't expect them giving me a review unit quite yet, especially since I've been a little up and down with the channel this year, but I think that's going to change. I know. Okay, so let me get everything kind of situated here. Let's see here. I'm going to turn off the heater. Okay. Oh, wrong one. Okay, there we go. Let's welcome some people in. It's in. Like Mikkel, he did his a couple hours ago. You got the Fox did his. I did not see the 90 hertz. I didn't realize it was 90 hertz. Did his 2 hours ago. Wow, High Tech Low Life, he is on top of things. Did his 9 hours ago. Yeah. Oh, and he did a live stream. Must have. Oh, wait. Oh, no, this is Legion Go. Okay, he loves it and he did a review. Okay, wow. Okay, I thought I'm going blind. Okay. Welcome, that Cat Smith for you, Crazy Tamal, Jumbo Josh, Gondorian Slayer, Raichi, Andre. Hey, I did it early enough time so you can be here. And I think that's it for welcoming in, except for Wolf. Wolf, welcome. And not except for Wolf. Wolf, you're the most important person here. Besides maybe Raichi or Andre. I don't know. I'm just kidding. You guys are all important. Gondorian Slayer. Crazy tomorrow. That Cat Smith for you. Brian, welcome. So, let's see here. Gondorian Slayer, Steam fanboys are on the rampage lately since the OLED model revealed. Yeah, I bet they are. Gondorian Slayer, Valve saw the success of the Legion and Asus. I'll be very, very honest on this. There's no way the ROG Ally or the Legion are going to beat it in overall numbers pushed. I'm just sorry. Like, the Steam Deck's going to win. Numbers all around pushed. And obviously Steam Deck's been out longer. It's just Steam Deck has such a strong, Valve has such a strong presence that I just don't, I wouldn't worry about it too much. That being said, I still think ROG Ally is doing good. And don't get me wrong, I don't think that it's going to do poorly, and numbers and cells and all that have shown strong adoption from people. I think it's also a really good device. The Legion Go is still too early on. But no, Valve has been working on this. This is something like a year ago. Valve did mention, well, let's go to it. Valve did mention that they were working on a device that was going to have better battery life and better screen. I was not expecting an OLED screen, though, which was kind of nice, to be fair. If we go here, I think this just redirects back. No, okay, this one doesn't redirect now. Yeah, so comes out November 16th. That's the one thing in the video, if you watch my video earlier, that I forgot to mention was that it comes out November 16th. So, everything else, though, besides the OLED, was not too, well, okay, and the, if we look at the 6, like, they went from a 7 to a 6 nanometer die size on the APU, which is a pretty big one. What? View the whole list. Okay, I don't like that design. It looks cool. People are going to miss out really easily. We'll read it. We'll go over this in a second. Let's see what anyone else has to say before we jump into this. And then we're going to watch some videos and whatnot. Okay, Andre, LTT has a good review. I'm going to go with, this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to go with Dave 2D, and then I'm going to do Linus. And that's what I'm going to do today. Just because we have about an hour to do this in. Crazy tomorrow morning, I will factory reset mine for my nephew and we'll move to OLED. Nice, Crazy. Raichi, the OLED part should be available for purchase. Oh, but the internals, are they going to kind of get messed up or did they do it properly? I think you're onto something there, Raichi. Another thing that I did forget to mention that was mentioned in LTT's Linus's video. No, it wasn't. It was, where was it meant? It was mentioned somewhere else. It's much easier to upgrade, meaning the screws are different. It's meant to be able to be securely fastened multiple times is what they went with. Crazy Tomorrow, DG Foundry if possible. That's definitely one that I've also queued up. There's Foundries tends to be a little longer, so I don't tend to do these on the streams as much. But maybe we will today. Crazy Tomorrow, LTT's got a decent video, yeah. Andre, I have an arcade cabinet that can use my old one. That's a really good way to do it, actually. It's Jumbo sticking with the OG. I don't blame you. You're not going to get much of a power increase with this one. You're going to see, let's see, the APU is moving to a 6 nanometer for a better efficiency. That's going to reduce the heat and the power consumption. That's one way that they're getting a power, or like that usage increase. Then the updated memory to 6400 MTS. It's going to improve latency and power management too. So that's also pairs much better, from my understanding, with the APU chipset. And then, increased thermal module thickness and performance. So this one's going to be an interesting one too. This is also helps with the dispersion of heat. So this is an interesting one. They increased active area from a 7-inch to a 7.4. They must have went with a custom OLED screen, which, from my understanding, they even said it's really expensive to go that route. I thought that was really weird and interesting. Another interesting one was that it's 90 hertz refresh rate rated, meaning it, and with OLEDs and a lot of these devices, I'm surprised they didn't go with 120. 90 just must be, so that I wouldn't be surprised if some panels could be overclocked higher, but maybe they just had a lower threshold so they could get an acceptance rate out quicker. I'll stop talking, nerd. They also doubled the peak brightness, because I believe it was a 500 nits. This is partially just came naturally with the OLED. OLEDs tend to be naturally very bright, and HDR OLEDs especially. Updated touchscreen polling rate to 180, improved latency and accuracy. This is also another big deal. This is going to make it so it's more precise, and actions will occur when you click it instead of if you click and then move. on the screen, it will prevent some of that. Wi-Fi Bluetooth module has been updated. Yes, Wi-Fi 6E is a big deal, as it, like they mentioned, could increase up to 3 times the download performance or speeds. That's depending on if you have a compatible router and enough bandwidth, or like enough bandwidth, internet speed. Hopefully, because they haven't fixed that, there was still been some Bluetooth issues. Hopefully, because of this, they're like, okay, well, because of that, they upgraded to the 5.3, which supports newer codecs such as aptX, HD, and low latency. So these are some new standards coming out that will be better for gaming with headphones that are wireless, obviously, which is a good deal. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a big deal, but it's pretty good. Added third antenna near the top of the device for better Bluetooth performance, including when docked. That is an interesting concept. I know in docked that Bluetooth performance could go down a little bit, but yeah, this one's an interesting one. That all they did was just add another antenna. It'll be interesting to see this thing opened up. Added support for Wake for Bluetooth controllers. That is awesome. Another win for the desktop mode, or a desktop note mode and like console mode with a TV. Improved bass response for overall flatter and profile. So they did improve wow, they improved so much with this. Added support for using onboard microphone arrays simultaneously with the 3.0. Okay, this is big. I wonder if some of this stuff's going to come through software updates, because I would be kind of surprised if they updated the speakers. Speakers are good. Speakers are not as good as the Ally. The Ally just dominates anything else I've ever had that's a handheld gaming device. Yeah, but that will be an interesting one. Controllers adjust the analog stick top material and shape for increased grip. So they slightly increase the analog stick grip and material to interaction feel with front cover and reduce wear. So they're also going to make it so that it doesn't wear down with the front cover. So let's see. A lot of just adjustments to make the controls a little tighter and a little bit more integral with gaming on it. This is probably the ones that was the least. I think everyone knew that they were going to increase the battery somehow, or they were going to figure something out with that. They improved the battery capacity from 40 watts to 50 watts, which I think is a big deal. And it sound in the sense that 10 doesn't sound very high, but with all the other improvements, that's where they're getting their 50 to 100% power increase. Well, it's not. It's 50 to 70% power increase over the original Steam Deck. I'm curious, though, with all these improvements, that it might be higher than what they say on their min. It went from a 2 hours minimum, like if you're playing a super extreme demanding game on the Steam Deck, it would say 2 hours, even though, to be fair, it was 90 minutes, depending on how intense the game was. All the way up to 12 or up to 8, which is what they said on the original. On the newer one, it is now 3 to 12, but yeah, I'm curious. I do think they're going to get a pretty decent increase. That being said, I would not upgrade my Steam Deck in any form or fashion if this was the only upgrade. Don't get me wrong. The only reason I am going to be, besides doing these videos and all that, and I'm still a little on the fence about this. Ooh, that back cover is so much cooler with the black, is the OLED. And it's partially because the OLED, the way the OLED is built, and the HDR, all of that combined, and what I've seen, is pretty awesome. And it makes it more compatible with the Ally and the Legion Go when it comes to screen resolution, fidelities, and stuff like that. Technically. I will still have to say I have used an OLED screen that had lower resolution, even than I think the Steam Deck, and the Steam Deck still is going to beat it with the with fidelity. but perceived fidelity does go up quite a bit. So when it comes down to like how good those colors are, they're going to be nice, really nice on the Steam Deck. But if you're wanting better resolution and FSR upscaling, I think the Ally is still going to beat it, obviously, because it has higher resolution. Yeah, so the power, 40 to 50, improved battery chemistry for faster charging from 20 to 80 in little as 45 minutes, which is actually perfect. That's really good. Change charging LED to WRGB. Interesting. I wonder if that's to help with like power drain. I think that does help with power. Added support for taking up the initial unboxing for long pressing power button instead of requiring AC power. Oh, interesting. Adjust power supply cable length from 1.5 millimeters to... It should have been modular. I think they really messed up here. I do think this is a good upgrade, but some of these upgrades are like bare minimum, and they should have made it modular, meaning have the power adapter have a port in it so I can adjust how long I want my cord to be. Added logo to power supply. Cool. Nice little touch there. Reduced total system weight to 640 grams, 640 grams, or 5% less than Steam Deck. I mean, they're going to, of course, give every little thing they can. I don't think this is going to matter to almost anyone except for the weak armed peeps out there. Rear cover screws now thread into metal. That's it. Instead of threading into plastic, it threads into metal, and it's much more secure, helping the integrity of the whole device, which is important. Adjusted rear cover screw heads to Torx, as well as the other materials and geometry tweaks on the heads to reduce stripping risks. Yes, this is going to suck for some people that don't have the ability to do this. Wait, actually, just so I'm not going crazy here. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Yeah, it's just it will definitely help with upgrading and opening your device. And it's really cool to see Valve really just want people to open it up and play with their Steam Decks. This will make it so it's hard for some people because some people just don't have Torx heads on them. So lowered number of screw types throughout the system. That's really good. I think they could have done that, and they did. Reduced step count required for common repair. Another awesome feature. Improved bumper switch mechanism, drop reliability. So when you drop it, I think a lot of things that they were seeing as the bumpers were breaking much easier, and we had people in the community have theirs break that way. Improved display repair replacement to not require taking rear cover off. Wow. That's a big one. I don't think they really upgraded this to be repairable and to be upgradable. I love that. Software, greatly improved memory power management firmware. It added primarily support. This is one where I'm like, is this coming with the original Steam Deck 2? I'm hoping so. Added preliminary support for open source BIOS and EC firmware. So what they're doing with this, I believe, is open sourcing their BIOS and allowing for quicker firmware updates through custom hardware mods. Deck HD would be the prime reason for this, probably. Improved resume time by roughly 30%. It was also really good. That is awesome. And I'm curious if some of this stuff is going to be coming with for this original Steam Deck 2. There's a lot of like questions with all this. They say this is for the Steam Deck OLED, but some of these are software that should be backfilled, I'm hoping. This is also available in the United States. It is a limited edition Steam Deck OLED, all specs. I wonder how you get this, though. Translucent colorway. This is cool. I like this a lot. I love this red fans and the red screws. This is sick. I want this so bad. How do I get it? It doesn't tell me. That alone might get me to get it. Okay, let's say hi to everyone. Cascoder, welcome. Not compatible OLED is different configurations. You are live. YouTube is glitchy. Yeah, no problem, Cascoder. Yes, I am live. Many devices came out since then. Lol. Some parts are shaped different, so not sure you can buy the pieces to upgrade. Andre, yeah, looking at this, I do think that there's going to be two different versions. Another reason why I'm like, I should have really upgraded that APU. While they were doing all this, they really should have upgraded this APU to a Z1 Extreme type. I know people wouldn't have. I know people have their their issues with that type of thing, but they should have. Okay, so how do I get the limited edition? This is what's pissing me off. Like, when can I, like, it says the 16th, but when can I, is there like another way to do this? I don't know. There's probably a good chance I won't be getting that limited edition. Okay. Gundorian Slayer, I wonder if the OLED will be an increase on resolution and performance. It will not be an increase on performance. The resolution is a 1280 by 800 HDR OLED display, where the original is the 1280 by 800. So the resolution is not going up, which I think, depending on how much it would have cost them more, I don't know if it would have cost them much more to do that increase, just because there's so many more devices increasing that resolution. This is starting to actually become a little bit of a non-standard these days, even with phones. I know why they did it. They're like, well, battery performance and all this. And I think the ROG Alliance proves that you can have a higher resolution and with FSR win. Like, a higher resolution is going to win in the long run, in my opinion. I think this is the safe route, but I think the best route would, like I said, I'm going to go over like a lot of gripes that I have with this, albeit really cool. It is a page out of the Switch playbook. 100%. Yes, better touch screen, Raichi. Weight part is mostly from screen difference. Yeah, I can see that, Crazy Tamal. It might have to do with those laws in Europe. Okay. Wolf, sorry if he explained it if I'm at the store and tuning it on, chat on and off. No problem. No problem. Right to repair laws, they don't want to get in trouble with Europe again. That's a nice color. Yes, it is a nice color. Disabled Geek, as a person who can't open up their current deck due to dexterity issues, I won't be surprised if I upgrade when I get some money saved. Nice. Yeah, and hopefully this really does improve everything. Look at that. They bought so much extra stuff to just display this thing, to make it look sick. Okay. Crazy Small, fighting for a chance to get it pretty much. It probably would cost them an arm and a leg. Yeah. The Steam Deck is the beta for the glorious future. Imagine getting a 10% discount for the Steam Deck 2 if you own the OG. That would be cool. I don't see them doing that. Hey, welcome. Hi. How's it going? Did you know there's a hi bird or a hee bird? There's 4 models, yes. To go back up, there are 4 models, 5 models technically, but they're going to be sold out. Let's see. Wait, where am I going? Am I going crazy here? So the previous ones, the 64 gigabyte version and the 512 gigabyte LCD are being, they're on discount, being sold out. They're not going to be, the supply is not going to be replenished. So the new standard is for the $399 version of the Steam Deck is 256 gigabytes, which is awesome. I personally think they could have given up a little bit more and got us a 512, but you know, I'm going to start. I mean, to be fair, this is good. I still say with how big games can get, this is still very little, but at least we're not dealing with some really weird issues, which I think they even regret kind of going with the 64 gigabyte version with shader caching. So, yeah. So this is the original, and then they're going to have the 512 gigabyte OLED and then the 1 terabyte OLED. And then they have a limited edition version of that 1 terabyte that's going to come with additional item, or like it's going to look better. So, which is cool. I like this. I like to see limited edition systems. I'm hoping I can get one. I doubt I will. That's the one I'm going to shoot for. I only have so much money to potentially get Legion Go or this time around, so we'll see. But I'm going to try. And that's another reason for them to upgrade that APU to the Ryzen Z1 Extreme processor, is to have USB 4 and to allow for eGPUs. Another like, this is my problem with this whole thing. And I am not an expert. I'm an expert adjacent. I read a lot of news. I read a lot of different things. I've been in the software world for a very long time, hardware world for a while. They should have just upgraded the processor along with the motherboard. And I mean, they upgraded pretty much everything else. I guarantee everything in this has had to have a new build. The motherboard, maybe the daughter boards don't, but a lot of this has needed to change a little bit. They should have just changed the APU. They should have increased it to a Z1 Extreme, included the USB 4 so it could support VR, and with that Z1 Extreme, it can support VR, from my understanding. Doesn't mean it's going to support every game. And it could have just, it would have destroyed, I know they're not the biggest competitors when it comes to things, but they would have destroyed the Ally. But they didn't do that. Still, a very promising piece of tech, and I do like it. What I'm going to say is I give it a B because it's good, but they would have gotten an A if they really would have just this one thing right here would have, like, upgrading that. And it doesn't say anywhere that it doesn't support USB 4, but with the architecture I saw, I think it's the same architecture as the 7nm APU that's already existent in the the old or original Steam Deck. So I'm going to surmise from that it's not USB 4 because that chipset does not support USB 4. Crazy Small, honestly, why not fight for a limited time model? I'm going to fight for it. Gondorian Slayer, modern games aren't very nice with space. Lol. The last Call of Duty was 250 gigs. Exactly. This is not going to work for the last Call of Duty. Kind of my problem. Hi. If I didn't spend way too much on the Quest 3, hey, don't regret that. Hi. We know how much you go into cyberspace with that thing. Just don't get caught in cyberspace and have to live it out. I know. That's such a stupid trope I'm trying to go down. Okay, so the Real Savage, welcome. I feel the same way. They should have upgraded to a Z1, 100%. Raichi, even the simple Z1 will have been great. It would have been a little bit of an upgrade over what they currently have, but no, the Z1 Extreme, they should have upgraded to it. It's just personally my opinion. I would have actually paid more for this model right here than I would have any other device. If they would have upgraded to the Z1. That being said, the Legion Go does have some cool stuff with their first-person shooters. So, I mean, there's a good chance I'm going to be getting the Legion Go over something like this if I have to choose between the two. Because there's Christmas coming up. I mean, do my kids need Christmas? Okay, should we do a poll? Wolf. Okay, do a poll. The poll will be, does James's or the Brink's kids need a Christmas? And just say yes, no, Cole or something. That's the third option. Let's do that, Wolf. Let's see what people have to say to that. Hi. They probably didn't want to have another device to target, and most developers would most likely target the LCD deck anyways if they upgraded the processor. Here's the thing, hi, with this. That the original needs to die off. It does not play most of the modern games that came out this year well enough for me to recommend it to some people. That's the problem. I will still recommend the original Steam Deck to anyone that's like very much wants a console experience that doesn't want to play the newest games. Maybe like they can play it on their console or their bigger PC. But if this is your main device and you do want to try to play as much as possible on it, I can't recommend the Steam Deck anymore. It sucks. Yes, Wolf. Can you do a yes? It'll be kind of fun. I want to see. Ben, how old are my kids? 3 and 6, so it's gonna be devastating. Gondorian Slayer, RIP kids. That just means I'm gonna be coming out with a lot more videos. If I could just ask one thing, watch my videos, comment if you like it or not. I have been trying to do more videos. I've been really into making videos lately. I've made a couple that have not gone out because reasons, but yeah. Raichi, the Z2 Extreme. Okay. I will forgive Valve 100% if in a year they come out with the OLED Z2 Extreme. device. I know people don't like that. I have to have content. People have to remember, like, content. This is what makes this so exciting, is that there's something new Steam Deck wise to talk about that's not super speculation. So yeah. Andre, but is it in their best interest to destroy the competition that still comes around to maybe purchasing games on Steam? Yes and no. So Andre, they don't need to destroy the competition per se. The competition is pretty capable already. I would say the ROG Ally, and with the way Asus and Lenovo are anyways, they're probably going to come out with a new model every year or two. They'll iterate. They'll be fine. This is going to be a new thing. We have desktops, laptops, and the newest thing, thanks to Steam Deck, are now portable gaming handheld devices. That is going to be on record. Like, they're going to be coming out with new models every year. It's not going to destroy them. I just say it's going to be the ultimate one to get. Like, no brainer almost, except for Legion Go with the FPS mode, which I haven't tried yet, but I'm really excited. I know High Tech Lowlife dropped his review just a couple hours ago. Disabled Geek. The thing that's crazy for me is I've been saving for the PS5 for a minute, and then the Slim and comes out tomorrow. But then this gets released. To keep it a buck, I may get this first now. Disabled Geek. I would go with this, or I don't know which one would have better. Like, maybe the Steam Deck OLED. And you might want to save up for the next generation of PlayStation 5 Pros are potentially coming out. There's a couple of iterations on the PlayStation 5 Pro coming out, and also some other stuff. I don't know. It's up to you, man. And there's so much. Sony's releasing so many games for Steam, that it's so beneficial to have a Steam Deck or some type of device that's computer related. That's right. It doesn't like me doing that in the chat. Okay. Let's see. Z1 will be the new standard, methinks. Yeah, I do think so too. Even the Steam Deck OLED is tempted. Honestly, by the time, I bet you AMD is working on the Z2, or Asus, or all these companies are working with AMD for the Z2. And I bet you the Z2, the Z series, these series of Z1, Z2, Z3 Extremes will probably be the next new way of doing mobile APUs for the foreseeable future. I wouldn't be surprised if with every iteration of their APU / their infrastructure, so every year they almost come out with something new. In the next year or two, I could see a very powerful Z2 Extreme around the corner, like in a year or two. Wolf, even the Steam Deck OLED is tempting, especially OLED. I like the Legion Go. Yeah, I know. The Legion Go looks so good. Hi. I don't regret it. Well, I just spent my new device budget on Quest 3, and anyway, my deck is collecting dust, so I probably would look at the shiny device and leave it somewhere else. Hi. Do you still have you have your Steam Deck in your time capsule? Also, I will try to be on Discord more, chatting. So if you guys want to ever chat with me, more than welcome to ping me on the weekends too to chat. I like chatting with everyone here via Discord and doing game stuff and all that. Disable Geek, I've got 3 options for savings currently. 1, PS2. 2, Legion Go. Or 3, this new OLED, officially a rock in a hard place. It really is hard. It really comes down to what games do you want to play for the next year or two. If you're budgeting like that, do you want to play, and depends on disability wise what issues arise. Whichever one's going to be the most ergonomic for you too. So Legion Go could be interesting, but maybe is not the best option for ergonomics, or it could be the best one depending on what needs to be done, because that mouse combo is pretty sick. Gondorian Slayer competition will be fine. I'm sure Lenovo and Asus has a plan with AMD doing well this time. They've got it in the bag. That's the thing. That's the thing. Who's going to really hurt from all this? Guaranteed, who is going to hurt are the companies that released 100, and they're doing okay in China. Ioneos, the AYN is, I consider it dead in water. I wouldn't. I put some money down on a reservation. Like, I don't remember how much. I don't think I'm gonna get that in any form or fashion. The GBD WinMax 2, if they do a GBD WinMax 3 and really fix some of the issues I have with it, which I have a review that I made 6 months ago that I should release, but I love that device. It just has major issues. That if they can resolve that, which would be really hard, will make it a top-tier device. The Reichi Z2 Extreme Plus Plus with GDDR6 Plus. Hey, Satanic, welcome, welcome, welcome. No, your problem. You're fine. I felt so mean doing that poll or making that poll. Don't make me do that again, Brink. Okay, should I sell my... No, I'm just kidding. Should I sell my kidneys? Oh, you guys thought I was going to say something else? Well, shame on you. Okay, let's watch. Let's watch OLED Steam Deck. Dave 2D. I just really like Dave 2D's chill, and I feel like we have something in common. Let me get my headset. Oop. That's right. Susie's been playing Dead Space. Yes, poor wolf. AK Huff, the Legion Go is extremely uncomfortable to play games on. I'm returning that and staying with the deck. The Legion screen is awesome, though. That's what I'm worried about, is that it's going to be uncomfortable, but I have played some other devices that look more uncomfortable. I don't know. We'll see. I agree. Like, it definitely is one major issue with me with the Legion Go. Okay, let's listen to this. Like always, I'm going to skip around. I do wish he would have put timestamps in. I don't think he did.
I did not think that this would happen anytime.
You did not put timestamps in.
Soon. We had multiple publications stating that this
is his background. Is this fake or I think this used to be real and it's fake now.
Didn't happen at all. But then
I don't know.
It showed up in studio and I couldn't believe my eyes. A fully refreshed Steam Deck, and I mean fully refreshed. Every single major component of the system is new. We have
it's not as bezel-less as I thought it was going to be. A little less, but I thought it was gonna be less bezels.
Sure. OLED display. We have a new chip, a 6nm chip, more energy efficient. We have slightly tweaked sticks. The touchpad, the speakers are better. The battery's bigger. Battery life.
Literally, we went through the list. It's like 50% of it's just new.
We have an improved thermal system. Let's just get right into it. Let's start off with the exterior dimensions, because that's one of the very few things that hasn't really changed per se. The biggest difference is like the presence of this new orange power button. It just like signifies the
I like that
new version of it.
I like
Even
how it pops
the screen cutout is the same as the larger panel, but because of the thinner bezels, the old accessories all work. So the kill switch from D-Brand still fits perfectly.
Nice.
And the screen protectors. All right, let's start with the displays. So this here
Good call on
is
that.
The previous model, like the original Steam Deck with its 7-inch display. So it was a 60 hertz panel, 400 nits. But the biggest issue with it
it's 400.
Color reproduction.
Oh, wow. It went up by 600. So, yeah, 90. The new one is 90. Like, he'll talk about it, but yeah. This is also, this sRGB rating is garbage. I can't believe they got away with that.
It just was not a particularly colorful or color accurate display. And I think when it comes to games, a lot of the kind of subtle details and visual nuance of games are just lost when you're displaying it on a mediocre screen. But with this new panel, it's a different story. We got 7.4-inch OLED that runs at...
Okay, so... I've looked into our sRGB ratings and stuff like that before. How do you get over 100%? I don't understand that. It's like it looks 17% better than real life. I know that's probably not how they scale it, but that's what it feels like. I've looked into this stuff because I've had to do color accuracies and stuff like that with UI development, but it's been a long time.
90 hertz.
He says 600 nits here. I'm pretty sure this is 1,000 nits now, unless there's a typo on here. Was I mistaken? Let's do some fact checking for Dave 2D. Yeah, right there. Updated peak brightness to 1,000 nits right there. Yeah, he's off. What the difference is 600 nits is the difference. So maybe he updated with the difference.
600 nits brightness that goes up to 1,000 nits for HDR content. It'll peak up there. It's more energy efficient because it's OLED. It's got way better contrast. So the benefits of this display are immediately noticeable in pretty much every game, like bright. And
so here's the thing.
games.
I have an HDR really nice screen right here. So I don't know how you guys are perceiving this. For me, this is popping really good.
Look awesome, like you'd expect. But even dark and moody games are significantly better because the blacks are just black instead of like a gray backlit pixel. It's just so much nicer to look at. And also, HDR content for the games that do support it looks awesome.
Funny enough, in the LTT one, Cyberpunk gets less, it's not as performant, but it sounds like they could fix that.
Awesome, like the bright elements just blast out of.
Ooh, Andre, kidneys fetch 262,000 each. Oh, don't tempt me. With inflation, that's going to be worth nothing, though, in a couple of years.
The screen at 1,000 nits. Now,
that looks good.
Display also.
It's a crazy, but from my understanding, how the OLED screen it does its pixel layout, it helps make it look more less pixelated.
Is a 90 hertz panel, and on games that make use of it, like this one, Dead Cells, it's just immediately noticeable. It's difficult to convey the kind of increase in frame rate on a 60 hertz video like you're watching, but if
we're gonna fast forward, we have other videos to watch.
So much better. Now, one last thing, if you'll remember, Steam Decks come in 3 configurations. It's like the base model, and then the mid tier, and then the top tier. But only the mid tier and top tier are going to get this OLED refresh. So the top tier configurations, like
wait, the top tier is going to have an why don't they do anti-glare in both? I don't get why that's an upgrade.
Here have this anti-glare etched glass finish to them. And the purpose of it is to kind of cut down some of the reflections. So this unit here does not have that etched glass coating. So if you're in a really bright environment or a brightly lit room, sometimes those reflections can be a little bit harsh.
I'm not going to... Yeah, so with how bright this can get, and because it's HDR OLED, I actually think they should have just standardized it being anti-glare.
But here, they're diffused a bit. The problem is, though, because it's an OLED display, I feel like you lose some of the OLED properties. Like,
you lose some of it, but it's one of those things where you're not going to get the best fidelity, but you're going to get a really good fidelity, and you can play it anywhere.
The popping colors and the really black blacks are lost because of that matte finish on that etched glass. So as a demonstration, this is it's like a screen protector. This is going to be a very crude demonstration, but hopefully it gets the point across.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I think we...
And on the new one, the location of that button and the actuation point is different. So it's just like consistent.
Oh.
And it's like a tighter click.
That's what they were talking about.
Silly as it sounds.
That's good.
Okay, the haptics on this, actually they've changed the touchpad to be a little bit more accurate and a little bit more responsive, but there's also updated haptics. So they feel a lot more precise. They're just like a tighter ping as you move around. The speakers are also but it's still running the same clock speeds and the same kind of power draw. The RAM is also still at 16 gigabytes, but it's running a little bit faster at 6,400.
I do think that's another mistake, though.
Now, because of that faster RAM, I was hoping that there'd be some kind of performance gains, but for my testing, if there is a performance bump, it's so slight I would consider it insignificant, at least for most gamers. It does resume.
So they originally, they originally went with the bezel. So why the bezel in the first place? So the original one, they went with the cheapest panels they can get, pretty much, for this form factor, and it had bezels. So to keep with the same form factor of the Steam Deck with this new upgrade, because they didn't want to change everything, obviously, they did not remove all the bezels. They were able to improve the screen by like 0.4 inches, but and it ate up some of that, but they weren't going to change the rest of it. I agree, it is really annoying. Andre, nits are different SDR versus HDR. Okay. I still don't know why it's different here than over here. But 117, that might be bad. No, Gondorian Slater, that's fine. I was kidding about it. Cascoder, I wish they shaved off more than 5%. Yeah, I do too. Cascoder, I wonder if Dave 2D will shut down like Linus to correct the inaccurate reporting. Wait. What's inaccurate? What was inaccurate?
Insignificant.
LTT is in a lot of hot water, so they're going to correct and do as much as possible. If I was Dave 2D, I would do it.
At least for most gamers. It does resume from suspended games a little bit faster though. But with that new chip, because it's 6 nanometers, it is a little bit more energy efficient. And because of that, you have slightly less heat. And with less heat, you have quieter fans.
Okay.
Fans that
I
don't
hate to
come
do this
on as
again,
often.
guys, but I didn't read this. Medium. Okay. Yeah, see, LTT actually has different. Their averages is a little higher right here, but their like mins were really bad on Cyberpunk 2077. As far as thermal performance, 8 hours stress test. Fan noise was reduced slightly, and the max CPU temp was reduced slightly too, which is good. This will help increase the longevity of your APU technically. I say technically, weirdly enough, some chipsets have actually done better with a little higher temps than others. So I know that's weird.
And then in addition
That's
to
old
that
school.
more
That's
energy,
like years ago
the
though. Battery life is another interesting one. Dead cells, 5 hours
more
to
modest.
7. That's a 2 hour difference. That's good. That's at 60 frames. 30 is where you get, it's not as great, but it's still. Dead cells could probably be at 90 frames too with this because of the 90 hertz screen, which primo. Control goes from 1 hour 38 minutes to 2 hours 13 minutes. That's a pretty good increase. Cyberpunk goes for and this is the Cyberpunk is a very demanding game. It only increases by 20, around 20 minutes, which is good, but not, it's okay. It's okay. And this is where I was kind of talking about, where I was like, I would only get 90 minutes. This is me. I'd only get about 90 minutes in Cyberpunk 2077 with my stuff set up. And the charge time 0 to 80%. There's something wrong. This should be 45 minutes. He's probably going to talk about that. This is supposed to be 45 minutes. This is an hour 3. I'm wondering if BIOS wasn't updated properly.
kind of gaming section.
Steam Deck OLED LCD. This is the light bleed, I believe. Oh, no, this is heat. So, yeah, 57, 51 coming out of the vent so you won't burn yourself. I know there were so many people who are like, I'm going to kill myself or burn myself.
Were both cooler and quieter than the original Steam Deck. And then in addition to that more energy efficient chip and the more energy efficient OLED screen, we also have better battery life. Now, Valve claims a 30 to 50% bump in battery life. From my testing, the really demanding games got a more modest battery life improvement, and the charging...
Gundorian Slayer, that's bad charting. I am a rookie when it comes to charting myself, so don't get me wrong on all this. Linus has a drama situation going on. Wait. Linus does? Oh, wait. Are you talking about from like a couple of months ago, or like literally like this caused some more drama?
Speeds are also a little bit faster this year. So the Steam Deck has always been easy to open, easy to repair, but this year they've done a few things to make it even better. So first, the screws. The old screw was this Phillips headed screw that I stripped so badly on my previous Steam Deck. The new ones are these machined Torx screws. You know anything about Torx? You know anything about screws? That's definitely better. And to get inside, it's just a quick pull of the side plastic area. Or at least that's how.
Who needs Real Housewives of Beverly Hills or Salt Lake City? There's actually Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, which is where I live. When you have the Real Housewives of Linus Tech Tips, Linus Tech Tip, the drama. I know a lot of people don't like drama. Sometimes it's juicy. Sometimes it can get annoying.
How I do it. And this is the inside. Now, the first thing I noticed was like, okay, the battery is a very similar shape to the previous generation. This is, actually I should put them like this, like the earlier part of the video. So the old one's up top, the new one is down here. So I thought, well, I was hoping that...
Where's this heat shield? There's supposed to be a heat shield on this.
This new battery would be able to fit into the old battery spot, and then people could all get 50 watt-hour batteries. You can't. They look very
Yeah, there was no way that was going to happen.
similar in shape, but this new one's a little bit taller, and because of this framing, you wouldn't be able to fit this one into there, unfortunately. Okay, let's remove the...
I will have to say, it's impressive that they did get to fit it in. Very impressive.
The shrouding here to take a look at the internals. The first thing that you should be aware of is almost everything has changed on the inside.
They could have almost made this be a plug-in. Like at the bottom, have an open slot that has like a little thing and just plug this in. This is swapped. This is the new Bluetooth Wi-Fi, I believe. Or maybe no, this is it up here.
So
that's the shield.
The good news is that
Interesting.
Okay, it's a major refresh. The bad news is that you can't just swap out parts. You can't just pick and choose the new things and put them to the old one to kind of update it. Unfortunately, the fan is a little bit bigger, better, and quieter. And then on the side here, you'll
it's
notice
black.
SSDs and
Who doesn't
similar...
like a stealth black fan internals? I'm opening up my Steam Deck so much that I want my Steam Deck to look really nice inside.
Position, but different orientation. But if you remove last year's SSD, you can see the Intel Wi-Fi card that was underneath it.
Yeah.
This year, it's a much larger Wi-Fi and Bluetooth chip. This is...
And you see the 3 different Wi-Fi connectors or antennas for the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi.
QuickTel, and it now supports Wi-Fi 6E as well as Bluetooth 5.3. And there's a dedicated antenna just for the Bluetooth. Mid-tier and the top tier are these
OLED we already know
refresh
that.
models with...
I love this. Is I think one of the things I like about Dave 2D. He mixes his videos up enough where I watch his videos over the years, and they've always been slightly different or improved or reduced. I like that because that's how I am. I'm a sporadic person. What's up, Brennan or Chad, Cat, and Bebe?
I just did a video on Sony's PlayStation 5 refresh, like their updated kind of slim version, and the difference in just company mantra of what they're trying to do is wild. Like the Sony's PlayStation 5 Slim seems to be just focused on, you know, some kind of monetary gain for Sony. But here, this is a crazy refresh in the sense that they put so much effort to do all these tweaks and adjustments for what the users actually...
Glad the whole fam's there tonight, Chad. Cat and Bebe. Rachie, do you drive? If you drive, you are heartbroken when you have to drive instead of playing on your Steam Deck ROG Ally. Honestly, Rachie, there's some of that. For my birthday, we have tracks near us. Take the tracks up to Salt Lake, and we went and had shabu shabu. I don't know if people know what shabu shabu is. It's Japanese hot pot where you get like a ton of meat, vegetables. You get a bunch of different options on broth. You can throw them in, cook them, eat them with sauces and stuff like that. It was really tasty. So we got on the tracks, went up there. Kids loved that. We went to the planetarium, went to there, and I played my ROG Ally on the tracks. Loved it. I might start doing that more often with my family. Maybe once a month, I'll start taking the tracks up, and I can play my game stuff on the way up there. Because otherwise, depending on when I get off work and all that, it's just tons of traffic, and I don't like sitting in traffic. Rachie, this new internal design is so much smarter. I 100% agree with that. Crazy Tamal, sounds like downloads will be faster. They're claiming downloads will be 3 times faster than the previous Wi-Fi adapter. Oh, Chad, baby turned 2 today. Happy birthday to little baby Chad and Kat.
Actually want, and a lot of it was just unnecessary, but they just did it because they could. And also the pricing, like this could have been so much more expensive, and I would have imagined that it would have cost.
I don't think so. I disagree with them here. This refresh is very reasonable. The refresh is very safe, and the refresh follows trends on pricing and stuff like that. They buy in bulk. There's no substantial upgrade beyond the battery. The battery is probably the biggest thing, but memory has gone down in price. So what it costs for them to make this a year ago or 2 years ago would have been has gone down a lot. That being said, the OLED screen and the battery are the 2 biggest things. Everything else is a reasonable bump in hardware, but like I said, price-wise, probably very reasonable with just the way trends go. The OLED screen, I am curious if they are making. I don't think they've ever lost money on the Steam Deck. They could claim that they have. I don't think they've ever lost money. I think they've always like on the oldest one they've zeroed out. I don't think they've lost money.
Cost more for this kind of update, but they kept.
Yeah, RAM and that's the thing. If they would have done, they could have done 32 gigs RAM easily. They just didn't want to do that weird disparity. Big miss. I love what they did here. I still think it's a big miss from Valve.
The same kind of pricing with more storage.
July 26th. I take it won't be able to exchange our LCD versions for the OLED version. Correct? I don't know. Actually, we'll see. They definitely made it so that you could swap out the screens without taking it apart, which indicates that it might screw in and mount differently, and so there might be a different internal mount for all the hardware.
I mean, only Valve can pull this off because of the whole Steam thing and how they own it and how they're just making money. But just it's so interesting how Sony did that and Valve did this. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up with a little demo of the case. Actually, something I keep wanting. The case allows you to transport the product in a lighter package. So this, right, this is a little bit more compact than that big case. So it's like a 2-in-1 case. But when you use this kind of slimmer case, you don't have the ability to store the AC adapter in the back.
In the back.
Like the big case. Like the original one. But yeah, a 2-piece.
I can get down behind that. I still think they could have improved. I don't know. I feel like some improvements could have been made on that, but that's still cool. I mean, it comes with one. The ROG Ally comes with a plastic stand. So there's that. Let's go to LTTD now. Hey, Wolf, do you want to end that poll? I want to see what the results are. Let's see here.
Okay. They said they wouldn't do this, right? But there was.
He's doing the bit of the person's Half-Life 3 going crazy kind
hardware
of thing.
certification in South Korea, right? Then, follow me here, Phoronix caught Valve sneaking code names into the Linux kernel. Final Fantasy VII fan.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, he's playing off of the last couple of months of people going crazy with like, look at the code here. I mean, I think I even did some type of YouTube or a stream on it. That Cat Smith for you. Hey. Andre Kids won. I don't even can people post what the thing was? I don't have it right now. I'll have to. Yeah, can you post the results? It doesn't. It's not showing up in my chat. July 26th. Are the size dimensions still the same? So we can keep our same accessories. Yes, they are. Dave 2D mentioned that I believe it was him. That the deck itself is the same dimensions and everything like that. The screen is the same screen port, but the way it connects might be different. But yeah, if you have a stand, a case, all that stuff should continue to work with the new Steam Deck.
Fans know that Sephiroth and Aerith had a bit of a run-in, and then we all know Aerith was a Valve codename for.
Oh my gosh, a run-in is understatement. Run through is more like it.
Okay, fine. Valve just launched an OLED Steam Deck, and I know what you guys are thinking. That sounds great, but didn't they say not to expect a new Steam Deck for years? Well, that's what we heard, but
That's not true. They've mentioned doing a refresh for a very long time. It just wasn't going to be a performance increase.
not actually what they said. We can talk about that later. For now, this thing is freaking awesome. I am talking larger, incredible HDR screen, massively better battery life, 3 times faster game downloads, more included storage.
I need Linus to do my PR, like my videos. He's so. I get super excited about things, but he gets super excited. But I get it. You gotta get pumped up and everything like that. I'm sitting in my chair, being a lazy ass here. Foonbooter, damn it, Valve, making me actually want a Steam Deck.
And guys,
right?
Without raising.
I mean, most people wanted an OLED upgrade. Like that was a big one for most people.
The price. Take that, Sony. So get your pre-order in now, obviously, but also stay tuned because on
Should the Brinks kids have a Christmas? Yes, 41%. No, get all the handhelds. 36%. 23% just give them coal. I don't know. You add those last two up, it sounds like people want me to just give them coal. You guys are brutal. They don't like the kids. They don't like Brink kids. Crazy Tamal's skinny screen most likely will not properly fit. It's more or less the mounting portion that is bothering me. They mentioned that the screen can be removed without removing the back, and so that means that screws aren't being applied in certain ways. So,
top of all the
Chad, kind of making me want to go with the deck again. Maybe. I don't know. The Z1 Extreme is a better chipset. Like the performance, I don't know. I have such a hard time. My ROG Ally can play pretty much everything I throw at it, and it looks good. It sounds great. It's a good experience, but my Persona 5 device, which is the Steam Deck, is great for that type of stuff.
the improvements that they highlight.
Foombooter, I voted no on the poll because I had no context. LMAO. I joined as soon as you said end the poll. No problem. No
For
problem,
us to
man.
talk about in our review. There's more that they wanted us to discover on our own, and those turned out to be very interesting, like our sponsor.
Origin PC. Configure your
PC.
next gen.
So, Foombooter, I do want your kiddos to have an Xmas. I'm sure you do. I was kidding you. Crazy Tomorrow, you could get an old one with a decent discount, Chad. Yes. Honestly, Chad, there's a lot of options coming out. There's a lot of things you could save up for in the next 6 months that you'll have your pick of whatever you want.
And gaming desktop or laptop.
Beautiful. This is not just a Steam Deck with an OLED display. This is a Steam Deck with a custom HDR OLED display. The first we've ever seen in a handheld with a rated peak brightness of 1000 nits in HDR.
Oh, he got that right.
A million to one contrast ratio and 110%
Doesn't
coverage of the DCI.
I think LTT's channel has the ability to replace videos. Old channels that got big fast have that ability.
Outer space. It is even bigger than the original, coming in at 7.4 inches rather than the original 7, which they pulled off by shrinking the bezels rather than by increasing the size of the unit, making it feel even more immersive. Oh, and did I mention that it now does 90 hertz refresh rate for smoother animations and more responsive inputs? I mean, after the mildly disappointing screen in the original deck, this is everything that I could have asked for. Well, almost everything. We're still stuck at 800p resolution, but what blew my mind about that was how hard it was to tell. I mean, I could have sworn that it was higher, but I guess that just goes to show you how much our perception is impacted by other factors, like brightness, contrast, and color reproduction.
Yep, 100%. You have that better color accuracy, and also the pixel, the way the pixels are laid out in the OLED help prevent that screen dooring effect in some ways, or like the pixelization, making it feel like it's larger. I still would have benefited from a higher than 800p, but I'm sure they had their reasons.
Valve nailed this thing. Like, the color in sRGB mode is dead on, with even more impressive saturation in HD.
So he likes this. We have to skim through this now because I needed this to be about an hour-long stream. We'll be a little longer, but let's go see what the
I'm
bad
sure
is.
you're practically yelling at your screen by now. Hey, Valve said they weren't gonna make a new Steam Deck, not for years. What gives with this? But
I love those
that's
transitions.
not quite how it went down. There were a bunch of articles earlier this year after veteran Valve programmer Pierre-Loup Griffet discussed how Valve would need to do a ton of work to re-engineer the internals to make an OLED screen work. And then another round more recently of him saying, he doesn't foresee the performance target for Steam Deck changing for the next couple of years, which we interpreted to mean that no new hardware was coming. But if you read the actual quotes from him, rather than skimming the headlines, he never actually said we wouldn't get a mid-generation upgrade. We just assumed that, and we all know what happens when we do that. And get this.
I mean, I assumed it. I knew that they were going to do a refresher. I didn't think they were going to shrink the die. And I think it was a mistake not to actually upgrade the hardware.
Is the new screen better? It's thinner, which carves out some precious space behind it for a larger battery. Steam
That's
Deck
right,
OLED,
that's right, yeah.
I'm not sure if Valve calls it that, but we're going to call it that, boasts a 50 watt-hour battery, which Valve says should charge faster and last up to 50% longer than the old one, which seems like some pretty questionable math on the surface, especially given that the included charging brick has identical specs.
I love how he's going about doing this, because he's gonna. I'm sorry. You guys can go watch the video. The whole point of this is just to kind of get an experience of this, because I don't have a first-hand experience. To see someone else have first-hand experience, and I will give my thoughts on this. He's gonna go after the 6 nanometer APU die size, because that heat reduction and power reduction greatly affects battery life.
You see, some of these gains come from the size of the
Let's go back to this. So charge time to 100%, OLED 148, 163. Okay, a drain test. Okay. See, there's something fishy going on with this charge time.
Some of these gains come from the size of the battery, some from a newer chemistry, some come from the more efficient screen, and we're going to talk about out-of-the-box performance, though, starting with Returnal. Running the built-in benchmark.
This is the interesting part.
On the low preset, we got virtually identical performance, with only the maximum FPS being significantly different from the original deck.
So you're going to get a little
story
better.
Going out for a rip on our favorite Canuckistan track in F123. Similar enough
Little
that
better.
most
Little
people wouldn't notice it day
little
to day,
better, though.
But an improvement that is well beyond our margin of error in measurements. I'll take it. Or at least I would until something weird happened. In Cyberpunk 2077,
this is what I'm talking about. And a BIOS update could fix that. But with those highs, this balances out to have better performance than the old Steam Deck. And he'll mention it. I shouldn't say what he's going to say.
Significant performance drop. Using the Steam Deck preset in both cases, our minimum FPS was quite a bit lower than the original deck. The good news, however, is that average FPS wasn't impacted. So what we suspect is that the new APU was stuck in a lower power state at the start of the benchmark and then ramped up, which is good because that should be easy enough to fix.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to fix it. It's easy. It's honestly calling it a Deck Pro probably would have been the better way to do it. They just call it the Steam Deck OLED, but the performance isn't much different. The architecture is much different. It's interesting. It's so weird that they went with an old architecture with a die shrink.
In the coming weeks, or I mean, probably unfinished state that it was in when I first reviewed it to the polished experience that it is today. Now, given that our focus is on the new hardware, we aren't going to get into a ton of depth about what Valve's done with SteamOS lately, but the incredible work that they've done on HDR and color management in Linux is just the tip of the iceberg. Once you manage to drag your eyes away from the new screen, you might notice the thumbsticks. Before you ask, no, they're not Hall Effect. But there's a new texture and a slightly
That is interesting they didn't go with Hall Effect.
Most people around the office seemed to prefer. When they were asked, well, why didn't you go with Hall Effect sticks? It seems like such a no-brainer upgrade. Valve said that ultimately they were unsatisfied with their reliability at this time, so...
Okay, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. The Hall Effect sticks on my Steam Deck aren't much better than the ones that are on my that the original came with. In some ways, I'm a little disappointed with them. That being said, I have yet to see the joysticks on the Steam Deck fail yet. So I don't even know if there is a failure rate.
Fingers crossed for the future. But
yes, Gondorian Slayer. July 26th, question, what are your expectations with the OLED display since the LCD current version is known for not being properly installed? Many people experience light bleed, me included. Light bleed is not necessarily improperly installed. That light bleed most likely comes from panel. So the cheaper the panel, the more light bleed there is. You can tell when there's a good panel and well rated and well built, the less light bleed. Same thing with TVs, but monitors are the same way with this. Installation process can affect that, but this is the Steam Deck is a cheap screen, and in my opinion, I don't think it's installation issues. I actually think it's just poor panels. With the new Steam Deck, with this custom OLED and it being it seems pretty premium. And with the way OLED works, the likelihood of bleed is going to be very low. HDR and OLED, it has very low bleeding capability, from my knowledge. Anyone else in the chat can correct me if I'm wrong, but you should see a much lower bleed of the light. I don't know what the Legion Go has, but I think a lot of handhelds have Hall effects now. Raichi, can someone hold my hand, please? Someone said I was maidenless, and I don't know where to go. How is Elden Ring Game of the Year? Wait, is Elden Ring? Wait, Elden Ring was Game of the Year last year. July 26th, will Samsung be providing the OLED panels like they did for Nintendo? I don't know, but from my understanding, they're very similar to Nintendo's.
But not today. Other tweaks to the outside, colors of the button labels and the bases of the thumbsticks are different. Power button is now a nice almost LTT orange. The power LED is a WRGB.
Does talk about it right around here.
Kind of available on the market. And by that I mean that based on the identical subpixel layout, we suspect that they're using the same source that Nintendo does for the Switch OLED, which is important because most
Samsung.
Sources that we can find suspect that Nintendo is using a MIPI derivative for their displays. Now, to be clear, we don't have any proof of this, but if we're right, it's probably a really good thing based on that recent video looking at OLED Switch burn-in. Yeah, it will eventually, but only if abused. So, fingers crossed. That's not it, but
I was gonna say.
Now, I'm sure you're practically yelling at your screen by now. Hey, Valve said they weren't gonna make a new Steam Deck, not for you.
Yeah. Let's see here. What was the other one you guys wanted to see again? Let's see here. Digital Foundry. That's right. Digital.
Let's get straight.
The brightness, it's so bright. He's whiter than me.
To it then, eh? Valve is delivering a new Steam Deck. It's shipping soon. I've got a review unit here, and well, it's excellent. It really is. It's just astonishingly good. On the face of it, it looks like a standard deck, right? But power it up, that too, owing to faster LPDDR5 memory modules in the new model.
Oh, so we're thinking that the improvement, a lot of it could be potentially the memory modules.
But there's so much more to talk about here. But let's skip ahead and look at the new deck lineup. The range has been completely refreshed, essentially, offering more storage. And yeah, the unit I was sent from Valve comes with a 1TB SSD, but here's how the overall lineup looks. Okay, so the base 309.
Yeah, I wanted to see that beginning portion. Let's see. Yeah, and he goes over the extra enhancements.
On low settings, but there's a significant quality improvement, a resolution improvement, and performance is much the same, if not a touch better. Oliver noted some pretty terrible stutter in this marketplace scene, and yet I'm able to run this at a flat.
So with the cooler CPU, we could overclock it a little bit more. That's another thing that people aren't thinking about. We could overclock this a little bit more. The memory is probably what is actually giving this a pretty decent increase in performance. Well, I shouldn't say pretty decent. It's giving a little bit of a performance increase. And memory, if done right, and definitely if it's synced properly with APU, does that.
Flat 30 FPS now with no issue. There's something else that's kind of nuts too that I'm just adding here as a kind of PS. Now, I love playing Control on my Steam Deck. Console equivalent settings that ray tracing support. I guess it's a preview feature currently in the OLED version of SteamOS. Capping to 30 FPS, upscaling from 540p got me into the realms of playability with RT reflections there. But in dense higher geometry areas, there were clearly struggles. But Valve is looking at things in the longer term, obviously. Today's Steam Deck might be pretty poor when it comes to ray tracing performance, but the Windows PC handhelds of today use higher performance processors that do manage it. They do run better. And in a sense, I see this as Valve laying the groundwork for the Steam Deck of tomorrow. Oh, and in my press briefing, I did ask about SteamOS support for Windows handhelds, and I was assured that the commitment is still there. It's just that Steam Deck OLED was their priority. And yeah, performance on the most cutting-edge PC titles is pretty much the only drawback the Steam Deck has right now. There are some games that just flat out won't run particularly well on the hardware. You can power your way past some of the limitations on those Windows handhelds with the more capable processors, but the experience of the operating system and the terrible battery life means they only have limited utility for the more mainstream game.
I have a plug near me all the time. Okay. Wolf, I thought I ended earlier. I did not. That Smith for you. I had a minor sensitivity issue with my Hall effect sensor joysticks, where my mouse is inconsistently on how fast it moves when the joystick is at the edge limit of movement, where it sometimes is slightly faster or slower than it should be. Crazy Tamal, I was saying Digital Foundry before because of performance numbers. Brightman, no, seriously, I just started and I'm lost in lost. Yeah, Raichi, yeah, Elden Ring can get you a little lost in there. Yeah, good luck, Tarnish, bro. Okay, I still need to. I've played about 2 hours of Elden Ring. Good game. I need to take a month off of work and beat all my games. Yeah, no problem. That's it for me. Good night, all. Good night, Andre. I'm ending also right now. I don't think there's anything else we need to cover when it comes to Steam Deck OLED. We can see that there's a slight performance increase because of the memory. We can see that there's a battery increase because the APU's die shrinkage and also the battery increasing. And we can see better visuals and almost like it's an upgrade to the resolution, but also upgrade to the colors that just engulf our eyes. Excuse me. Because of this new screen. It's all around a good win. I think it's a really good start. And if they keep up with this model and with the Steam Deck 2, they just increase, like, honestly, this could have been a Steam Deck 2 if they just would have upgraded to the Z1 Extreme, personally. So with that, thank you guys for watching. If you have anything else you want to say it in the comments of this video if you're watching this after the fact. And yes, yeah, no problem with the full analysis. I really like this. I am going to be, that's going to add an extra little layer, but once I get the Legion Go, and maybe when I get the OLED, I will do a full analysis of all 4 devices. I kind of leave out the Chinese specific ones because their support isn't that great. I'm going to kind of stick with mainstream, well-distributed ones. So thank you guys for chatting. Expect more videos. I'm always excited to make videos for you guys. I haven't done the best at fulfilling them at times, but if you do have a topic you want me to do, let me know in Discord or here, and I will try my best. I have not done my best at doing topics that people have recommended, partially because circumstances at that time. So thank you guys so much. Catch you guys next time. Peace out. Later.